Welcome to our 2017 early signing day event. Hey, not a bad place to be, a bowl game, bowl week. A lot of fun this week here in St. Petersburg. Glad to have you here. A terrific day for the FIU football program. Terrific day. FIU took a big step forward today. 20 young men deciding to join this program and be a part of it. The coaches love signing days, and our friends at the NCAA decided to add another one for their enjoyment. Made things a little bit more stressful during such a crowded time of events, bowl prep, scouting opponents, getting their teams ready during practices, Christmas shopping. But these coaches handled it terrifically, and this is one of the best signing classes in the history of the FIU program. If you evaluate recruits by their rankings, the star system, Rivals 24/7, this class checks the mark. If you evaluate it by content of character, it checks the mark too. We got 20 young men that are going to be playmakers on the football field at Ricardo Silva Stadium next year, and we're excited to get it started. The success of the recruiting class, of course, mirrored on the field. An 8-4 season, you have the momentum of today and a chance to earn a program record 9th win tomorrow, and that's large in part to Butch Davis. Let's give him a round of applause.
Thank you for everybody being here, and I want to give a shout out before I talk about anything about recruiting, okay? For the home games that we had this year, our cheerleaders and our dazzlers and our band were spectacular. They were awesome. And you need to know that a lot of the kids that we recruited and their families, when they came to games, they were unbelievably appreciative of your energy, your enthusiasm, and an opportunity to try to help create an environment for success. And I want to say thank you on behalf of the entire football program to all of you. Thank you very much. You know, a long time ago when I first got a chance to get into college coaching, I worked for Jimmy Johnson in 1979. And Jimmy was a devout believer that recruiting is the lifeblood of your program. If you can't recruit and you cannot go out and bring great young men into your program, you've got absolutely zero chance. It doesn't matter how good the coaches are, you have to have young men that are passionate about coming into the program that want to play. And there is a litany of people involved. Anytime you have success in recruiting, it takes a lot of people to do it. And there's a lot of shout-outs. I'm going to start first and foremost with our own current players that are on this football team. They hosted, they won 8 games on Saturdays. They set a culture that the recruits saw and said, you know what, I would love to be a part of that. And so for our football players, I mean, all the recruiting kind of started with them. Obviously, our assistant coaching staff and Brent Renner and our recruiting department and all the other people, it is huge about that. But it also goes even further than that. It goes into our faculty and our administration. President Rosenberg and Dr. Elizabeth Behar, Jody Glassman. I mean, there were some people that really did a great job when families came on campus and we were trying to sell how critically important and how good that FIU actually is. They did a phenomenal job in helping us sell the institution and what a degree would mean to come to FIU. So those people did a phenomenal job, and our whole football staff is very appreciative of everything that they've done. So thank you very much to them. I learned a long time ago when you start recruiting, when I became a head coach in 1995, that classes are not individualized. You can't look at one class and say, okay, this is completely the answer to current problems or current issues or future issues. You really truly have to kind of take a look at classes that become back-to-back. Last year was our first year, and we basically had about 5.5 weeks to try to put together a recruiting class. And I think, surprisingly, after coached those freshmen this year, I think our coaches would say, you know what, we actually hit a home run last year in 2017. There were a lot of young men who came into the program who really made some significant contributions. For those of you that don't know, we actually had 17 true freshmen that played in games this season. I think that number of 17 players that came in as true freshmen really helped the 2018, because a lot of kids, I don't want to worry about I'm playing in 2020, 2021, 2019. I don't want to sit on the bench. Does the coaching staff, can they prepare me and help me get in to college games and become a significant role player and help build this program? And I think the 2018 signees, I think they saw that those kids last year got a chance to come in and contribute and absolutely be a role player and help us win those 8 games. So I think that when you look at these two classes together, now you fast forward the clock and you get a year to spend some time, and our coaches did a phenomenal job. It started a year ago, going out in throughout the state of Florida, throughout the country, and building relationships with high school coaches and programs, and identifying and evaluating who could come in and be a part of this program. And I think our coaches did absolutely a phenomenal job. One of the things, and when we talk about them, and we'll show you the videotape on them, is that some years you kind of come in and you say, okay, we need a lot of these, or we need a lot of those, and we don't need any of these or whatever. One of the things you're going to see when you see the class, when we announce all of the names and the positions, we actually signed somebody in absolutely every position thus far. We're still working on one of the positions that may come through sometime this afternoon or maybe tonight, but we signed offensive linemen, defensive linemen, linebackers, we signed wide receivers, running backs, we signed kids in the secondary. And I think that was good for us this year, because some of these kids are going to come in and be immediate, huge, gigantic help to this football program, and some of them are going to be great players in this program, but it may take a year or so for them to get a chance to do that. Just as a brief overview a little bit, we ended up signing 14 players from the state of Florida out of the 20 that we have signed. And we didn't just focus exclusively in one geographic area. One of the things, of the 14 players, we signed 4 from Dade County, we signed 2 from Broward, 1 from West Palm Beach, 2 from Southwest Florida, 1 from the Space Coast, 2 from North Florida, and then 2 from Central Florida. So we pretty much, with the exception of the Panhandle, that I'm not sure that's actually part of Florida. It may be actually southern Alabama and Mississippi. But anyhow, for the whole rest of the state, we actually went around and found players in those places, which I think will eventually, over the history and over time, will pay dividends, that high school coaches know that we're going to cover the entire state of Florida and try to bring players into this program. When you take a look at it, and you break these down, as I said, there was 20 players. And one of the things when we went into this recruiting and we said, okay, you get 25 scholarships, okay? If you look at last year's class, after we signed the kids last year, we signed 18 players. We had 7 scholarships left when the signing day in February was over, because for us, this is phase 1. There is another national signing day that'll be the first week in February. You got to have bullets, okay? Because last year our coaching staff did a phenomenal job of going out and uncovering guys that became a big, significant role player. Those of you that have watched the games this year, our starting tight end, Pharaoh McKeever, was a bounce-back fifth-year grad student that was a starter for North Carolina State. Was an unbelievable answer for us because we didn't have one within the program. So that was a great to be able to have a scholarship for him. Shaquille Williams, an offensive lineman that's going to have a huge upside. Those kids you've watched, Sean Young, I can't tell you, not only is he the backup punter, but he's the starter on place kicks that kicks off. You have no clue as to exactly how important it is to have a pretty good chance that he's going to kick it out of the back of the end zone and the opponent is going to have to go 75 yards every single time in a game. That was huge. So having some of those kids and having scholarships available, and that's kind of what we'll do starting as soon as this game's over with Thursday night. We'll start focusing, okay, how can we best use these next 5 scholarships? And it may not be until summertime. And those of you who read a lot of the articles, we awarded 2 players that were on our football team that were walk-ons. And I've told the team this, and I've told a lot of people this, I'm shocked that either of those two kids are even still in this program. Brad Mohammed stayed in school. He had some issues, family, where his family lost jobs and they had to work and stuff like that. So he had to leave the team and he had to work a job and go to school and continue working to pay his own way to come. And Bryce Kennedy, our starting corner, who leads the team in interceptions, and Bryce Kennedy is one of the leading tacklers, plays on special teams, and started at safety. We had to have scholarships for that, and we ended up giving 2 walk-ons that became great players for us. So the philosophy of saving scholarships, I think, is going to be a really, really good deal. So I would give an opportunity maybe to ask some questions if anybody would like to, and then we're going to start rolling the video and let you see exactly who these guys are. And one thing, if you wanted to get a little bit of a glimpse in your mind, I'm going to tell you what's going to be on this film. We got dramatically bigger, okay? We are bigger, and we got a lot faster, okay? Those were 2 things that we looked at and we said, okay, before we ever started on the recruiting aspect, so we've got a bunch of guys that are 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", and we got a lot of guys that can run. And you bring speed, you bring size and power into the football program, it gives you a chance to have great success in the future. Anybody want to ask any questions? Anybody have some? Or hey, come on, man, I know you got a question. No, George, nobody. Now, thank the assistant coaches in this room, okay? Because, and I will tell you, a lot of things, the coaching staff plays a role in it. The faculty plays a huge role in it. And I will tell you another thing. Pete Garcia, our athletic director, you could not ask for somebody to be more passionate about helping this athletic department and the athletic programs, the baseball program and all the other sports in the springtime. He really wants them to all be outstanding and to be good. And to do that, and I will tell you that some of the things that we have done from a facility standpoint paid huge dividends. I don't think by any question we would have had the success that we had today had we not been able to come in and do some things in the meeting rooms that we did, the strength and conditioning room, the players' lounge, a lot of the things, the 2 brand new practice fields. When they came and visited us on their official visits or unofficially, they looked at our facilities and they were never like, well, you don't have what Alabama or Florida State. We don't have those things. Now we got those things, and that really paid a huge dividend and really helped us as far as recruiting. So I'm going to shut up. If there's no questions, I'd love for you to take a look at the 2018 FIU Panther football recruiting class. I'm just mad that like 12 of them couldn't play tomorrow night, you know?